I'm going to go ahead and give him a standing O because I love this young man. I watched him as a youth speak this message in Oakland, California. Give it up for this young man right here.
I appreciate y'all.
This leader right here, this futurist right here, this entrepreneur right here. Give it up for this man. He leads by example. I've been watching him speak for years, but I watch what he does. He leads by example. He's not telling you anything that he hasn't applied to his own life. He leads by example. And I want to say salute to this man because he even helps people who's been around longer than him. He confirms to me things that I think already. He gives us building blocks to build our community, to build ourselves from within. I love this man. Give it up for the one and only 19 Keys is here.
Man,
He's back.
appreciate
He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Come on, man. If you can see this life for yourself, then why you not living it? We dream often of the life we want to live. I remember as a kid growing up on 23rd Ave in East Oakland, dreaming about one day being on tour. Dreamt about being on tour. And then eventually King Tech and I became on tour, but we took it a step higher. Our mindset became higher level.
Yes, sir.
And we began to throw the tours ourselves. And then we began to take people on tour. We were living the life we saw for ourselves. And as difficult as that seemed to some folks, it ain't always so difficult, right?
Yes, sir.
19 Keys, can you speak to that?
First of all, thank you for having me up here. I'm absolutely honored to be here again. You know, I grew up watching you. Okay.
Yep, got him right. Got him right.
Tangled in there.
They ain't gonna have a whole interview like that.
You know, I grew up watching you. You feel me? As an Oakland icon. And I remember running into you one time and giving you a Assalamu Alaikum hoodie that I created. And I seen you wearing it the next week.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I always appreciated that. And growing up in Oakland, I always tell people it's a little different because we didn't grow up with the civil rights as our heroes. It was the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
It was people who had more radical action. This is why you get a different level of pride coming from Oakland. People go say, I'm from Oakland. You know what I mean? You go pop it a little different because you coming from a place of victory, not victimhood. And the goal is having a vision, right? A people without a vision will perish because you let somebody else lead you. When you ask somebody, what is the future? A lot of people draw a blank, or what comes in their mind is what the media has trained them to think. The movies that they watch, Hollywood, right? Terminator, AI. They think it's just all gonna fall and it's desolate. But if you have a vision for yourself as a futurist, the goal is always to imagine, what is the future I want? What is my best outcome for the future? And then you live a particular life to where you build that future out. So my greatest gift, even when I speak, right, is always being a visionary to where I'm always imagining the end result, right? And then the rest of it is just me going through the process of that lived experience, asking myself, okay, what is the knowledge I need to gain? What are the skills I need to develop? Because the person that comes up with the vision is not always the one that can execute it.
Right.
So you have to know the gap between who you are, the vision you have, and who you need to become in order for that to come into fruition. So I always say the only person I ever been jealous of was my future self. He got everything I want. Look better than me, dress better, definitely got more money. You know what I mean? He kicking it. He living life. He traveling places I ain't never been to. He's extra cultured, fly. Like, he a different type of dude. You feel me? And I would always sit down, ever since I was a child, I would sit and try to imagine myself 10 years in the future. And then I always get to these points sometime where it's like I'm drawing a blank. Like, that's when I know I'm not living right. Because I should always have a bigger version of myself, right? And then it gets to some point in time, you start maintaining a life instead of growing one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we start focusing on survival instead of evolution. And evolution should be the goal today, not how we can survive today. Forget that. We in the technological time where we have the greatest resources ever.
Yeah.
So it's saying that, okay, what can we evolve into? What's our 100 days plan? What's our 50-year plan that we see for Black America, building out a utopia, building out a parallel world that we can have? When I was younger, they used to give us all the actual facts. I went to a Black Muslim school when I was younger, Elijah's Educational Center in Oakland, California. And always tell us about the real estate of the planet Earth, 196,940,000 square miles. And that was so that we had a cosmic mind, that we didn't think just local. right? That we say that this planet belongs to us. We're stewards of the planet. All the ancient and indigenous people had this mindset that if the planet fails, it's because of us, right? That it's our responsibility to steward the planet. They didn't just have localism and nationalism and globalism. They had cosmism, right? Every single tribe in every one of our ancient civilizations had an understanding of the stars and the universe and the cycles that they lived in, which allowed them to build civilizations. Because when you understood the cycles, then you was like, okay, this is when we can do our agriculture. That's how ancient Kemet was able to be able to build a civilization, to know how to feed their people based on living within those cycles. So now we at the end of a cycle in America. But what's our vision for our own America? That becomes the question. We look at AI and we allow them to paint a picture in our mind about this apocalyptic end of things and say no. Because what happens when we use it for ourselves and we have our own plan and we say we go build our own secondary cities, right? We go take the technology and build our own currencies. We go have our own infrastructure using decentralized autonomous organizations, right? Okay, we can boycott, that's fine. We boycott, then build. Right? We get away from, oh, I just want to retort what 19 Keys said, and so therefore I'm about to go on there and challenge him because he's not right. No, you get me a call up and say, bro, let's build. I don't think you got it right on what I said on this. We go into a new paradigm and a new playbook because the same old one, I can type in AI and it'll tell you everything that you're about to do. Right? Because we've been operating on this same thing over and over and over. So what's new? What's the new cycle? What's that new thing? Right? That new thing is, man, this is what they didn't see. The church got together. Right? The NOI got together, right? The radicals over here on the left, on the right, all of them decided to say, you know what? We all agree about our economic freedom. We all agree on that particular idea of a future of us having our own self-sovereignty as the playbook. We all agree that family needs to be the code that we operate on. We all know that we need better ethics in this culture and the standard that we can all live by. We all want to have neighborhoods where our children are safe when they can play down the street. And the neighbors is a network that help grows the child. Right? We all know that we're not making enough money because they suppressing the wages and then want to replace you with automation, knowing that they put you in a school that don't allow you to think and now telling you to utilize your brain. Right? But now you 30, 40 years old saying, how the hell am I just supposed to shift? But they know they've left you to a place to where your human capital is not worth as much because you can't even pay attention, so it decreases your productivity. So now they have to replace you. Now you getting anxiety. Now you on social media feeding all your attention and all your energy into their services, living in their world. What is their world? Their world is X. Their world is YouTube. Their world is Twitter, right? Their world is Snapchat, Meta. They own all of these worlds that we spend all of this time and attention in and become reliant and dependent on. And what they hate is if we opt out.
If we opt out.
Because what's their world worth if we ain't in it?
Right.
When we opt out, those services are no longer available. What do we opt in?
Our own. We start slow. And this is the thing we got to stop being afraid of, because we always look, it's not easy. Well, I was never taught that a man seeks an easy life, right? The route worth traveling is a hard one, but it's worth it in the end because there's value. So today, and here's the beautiful thing about today's time, it won't take forever.
Yeah.
Right? Number one, there's already developers and architects and engineers out there that have things, they just don't have the exposure, right? So what we would do is I propose a DAO system to where everybody could be a part of, and we can vote on, okay, what is the type of social media platform that we want? Within the first 30 days, we can get that done, right? These are not things that take years. What's going to take a little longer is us building our own Targets and Costco's, right? Fine. But if you looked at my brother, I think they had the platform We Buy Black a while ago, and that's what they was building. The problem is that when people are building it, the people aren't ready, because we always waiting for trauma to happen to pay attention to the right things. So now we got DEI, gets people to start focusing on something for a moment, right? So my proposal, again, goes back to utilizing blockchain to create our own digital network. Now everybody is a part of this digital network that has access to it, that they can vote in it. If you don't understand it, then do some research. You can use ChatGPT, DeepSeek. They can break these things down for you. But essentially, we are able to create our own digital nation state. Then we are able to acquire physical assets as well, right? Because we are already a digital nation state, globally interconnected. Who had the best plan ever? was Elijah Muhammad. He had the last working plan for an economic network. Not Black Wall Street, and no disrespect to Black Wall Street, because O.W. Gurley, he did his thing, right? But the last blueprint that we had was Elijah Muhammad's economic network, because he had all the things we say we want. And it wasn't a physical location. It was all throughout America and growing. So if we bring that back in today's time with the economic blueprint, utilizing blockchain, having our own currencies, utilizing cryptocurrency, people look at Bitcoin as the price. Oh, it's at 100,000. No, it's a technology. It's a technology that should be a radical's and a revolutionary dream, because it literally says decentralized. Go away from central control and power. They already have decentralized apps. They have DeFi, right? You can look at Mastodon as an application that is decentralized, where it doesn't have one central owner that controls it. There's a group of multiple servers that you can hop in and out. So there's already ways to choose your world. The thing is, we're lazy in some senses, right? We want the TikToks because the children are choosing an algorithm that they think is best.
Yeah.
Because the American dream is lost. They say, man, I can't afford a home or a house, and TikTok allow me to be anybody and make some money, right? So we then take that and say, okay, do we have the brilliant minds that can produce the same thing for us? Because what we know is we are not a monolithic people. So we're not going to just jump on the train just because it's a good idea, right? We need to make sure that it also has the capacity to allow us to become conscious capitalists, to where we can build a life. I was in Japan, and the thing they had was the ikigai. So they live.
Wait, what's that?
Ikigai is when you create a life of purpose. So it's a 4-quadrant system to where say, do something that you're good at, find something that you love, then find something that the world needs, right? And that could be anything from a janitor to a barber. The world needs it. But then you also have to have something that makes money. So they don't have a real idea of retirement, because why would you retire for something that you love to do? So this is about QOL instead of GDP. What is the quality of life, right? Right now, the quality of life index in America is very low, right? People are not happy at all. The elites are continuing to rise asset prices, and they got the people on Twitter and Instagram scapegoating each other as the problem, not looking at the managerial ruling class as the one who have all the power behind the scenes, right? So the goal would then be saying, okay, how do we change the quality of life for everybody? People can't afford goddamn eggs right now. That's a problem. So now we know that we need to create our own parallel world, because capitalism is at a point where it's unsustainable. So the government is trying to figure out, how does America maintain power, compete globally all across the world, right? And then as they're waning in population to continue to be the majority on the planet Earth, they saying, let's just replace the brain trust that we've always had. Let's replace the workforce of the bodies, because I don't think we can continue to control the next generation to come unless we completely have them immersed in our own matrix. And so what is that disruption? It's saying black people saying, and other people across the planet Earth that believe in this, saying that let's just opt out.
Let's opt out.
Because at this point in time, nothing that we do matters if we're using these systems. And it ain't about another leader. It ain't about a hero. It's just about systems. Systems that we create. And when we have a vision of those systems, you realize that actually we have the engineers, the developers, the architects, the creators, the financiers. We have people that believe in it, because even the rich class right now, they're afraid of their children's future. They don't know, they don't have no power and no control. It's just symbolic. Real power is force, not influence.
We got 19 keys up in here. What a great intro.
Wow. Force, not influence.
Hey, man. That's town business right there. Right? And just for you to know, he's performing tonight. Not performing. He'll be speaking tonight at Gramercy Theater.
Yes,
maybe 10 tickets left. Maybe 15 if you're lucky.
Wow.
I heard it's sold out.
It's sold out?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
Next
That's
one.
it. All right.
And we will be giving away an acre of land to a lucky person. So all they have to do is submit a video about what does it mean to save yourself, right? And why do they think that they deserve the acre of land? And shout out to my brother Acre Boys who sponsored that.
Why land?
Because land is ownership. That's the key right now, right? We should all be looking at land sovereignty, where we can go build secondary communities and transformational homes on top of, right? These homes that you can be producing 20 homes a day. You know what I'm saying? And then you can be renting them out, or you could be selling them, right? We can create secondary cities right now, right? We can go to all of the black mayors and things of that nature and say, okay, well, your city needs jobs, right? Well, you need to bring influence and creators in these cities to help stimulate the economy. That's the opportunity right now. So land ownership should be a key. That should be the movement, right? When and this is no disrespect to the civil rights movement completely. It's just that we're past that time, right? And the thing about history is it only shows us one side, right? The Marcus Garvey, the Elijah Muhammad's and things of that nature, they was focused on ownership as progress. Then you had the civil rights movement. At a time, they was focused on integration and acceptance as progress, equal rights. But we say, let's just get equity rights instead of equal rights. Separation didn't mean segregation. It means that I own where I'm at, you own where you at. We have separate territories of our own. White America understands that because they own the platforms, they own the banks, they own their land, they own the buildings.
The hospital.
They already practice it.
Yeah.
We're the only people not practicing separation, right? When you go to the neighborhoods, the Jewish man owns most of the neighborhood, right? We rent from him. So what does it mean when we become financially literate? It means that we educate ourselves out of ignorance of being someone else's consumer, which is dangerous because then that affects their bottom line. Because our ignorance is what feeds their family. Right? Our ignorance is why the fast food companies are constantly being built and they go into food deserts in the hoods of America. We need to replace every single one of those with bodegas. Man, the best thing in New York is the bodegas. You can mean I can go get fruits and vegetables and sandwiches late at night. All we had was liquor stores growing up. You know what I'm saying? You damn near can only get cigarettes and Black and Milds. So if we look at a radius of the zip codes in America, Dr. Wesley put together a great report about the targeting of zip codes. They looked at Oakland and we looked at the particle matter in the air and how the air particle was dirty, right, in certain neighborhoods, specifically in Oakland, right? We know the Yemen Society in Oakland, they run most of the liquor stores. There's no reason why we can't go to each one of these organizations and say, look, either we would like you out of here or you got to change your business model. Your business model has to include fruits and vegetables. You know what I'm saying? Your business model means that you should be readily available to be able to go get you an apple before you can go get a piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to start making these things easier and more available. When you go to somewhere like China, every single corner has access to fruits and vegetables, right? They make sure that they people have the things required for them to have a higher quality of life. It's beautiful out there because it gives you a representation of essentially where we would like to go as a culture. But how did they get there? They did the Bushido. The Bushido is essentially taking hundreds of years of ancestral wisdom and creating a culture out of it. They understood the art of war and they understood the art of peace, right? So therefore, they implemented that in all the anime, right? Growing up watching Dragon Ball Z and the different ones, they had lessons inside of that so the children would learn those lessons of how to live and how to interact with the world and themselves and the philosophies behind that. You look at American cartoons, it's just ignorant trash. They didn't care about demoralizing the child because it was just about capitalizing and capturing attention. It wasn't about developing a culture, right? So then we say, okay, how do we doing that same thing today? Even if you look at Pan-Africanism, and, you know, I've been to Africa multiple times. Ghana is the safest I ever felt in a country ever. But when you go look at
the same thing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Food was immaculate. It was amazing. I seen a brother tell the police he was going to feed him to his lions. Greatest thing I ever seen in my life.
What?
Yeah, it was different out there.
What?
Yeah, they was disrespecting. He said, I will feed you to my lions. I said, damn. I said, we do the same thing.
Yeah, right. It's a little pit bulls, though. It's little pit bulls, though. You know.
I can't just let them outshow us like that.
Yo, this is what I want to do, man. First of all, give this man a round of applause. I'm purposefully not interrupting you because I want people to hear all that you have to say. Terrell's on the line from Buffalo, New York. Terrell, welcome to the show. We got 19
What up,
keys
T?
here.
Hey,
What up,
Terrell.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me on, man. I'm a long time listener. I've called in a few times, and one of my favorite things about listening to your show is that it's always knowledge and there's always food for the soul in it. So thank you for having on guests like him and doing what you guys doing the day-to-day.
Thank you, brother. What's your question for him?
So my question is regarding what he mentioned about us creating our own communities and utopias and stuff like that. So I'm with it, and it sounds great, but from my experience, it seems as though it's been best to kind of worry about myself as an individual, and then also in terms of my family, because it seems like us as a community or a group, we're too far gone, and it's just better to kind of get where you're going by kind of leaving others behind, for lack of a better word. So what's your advice on how we can come together, or what's the first step in allowing us to actually build in this utopia that you speak of?
I appreciate that. Individualism is the problem of the day. And again, going back to Japan, they have what they call group thinking, right? And group thinking, you don't do things that shame the group, right? And this is the problem. A lot of it is that we don't have a foundation to where we grew up in it, right? We grew up in a time where we didn't have a lot of significance, so we chased that a lot. Instead of focusing on contribution and community, significance become the hierarchy, so it makes us compete with the person next to us. If you grew up in a household where your family is full of love, then you already have that significance. So you only look at how do I contribute and become significance by my contribution. That's the proper alignment, right? So what we have to do is we have to promote more group thinking, but it starts in individual family, and then we have to promote a code that everybody agrees upon. Right? What is a simple code of ethics that I can hold you to as a standard? Because we can't skip steps, right? Yeah, the ultimate vision would be this utopia. That's not overnight. That's saying that, okay, that's our 50-year goal. Then we work on the steps to get there, right? And this is what we have to learn how to start mastering time, right? To where we're not going spatial territory. They learn how to master time through processes and institutions, and the family is an institution. So if I teach the son, right, like my father taught me and my mother taught me, that's having power over the next 50 years. Then if I have a son, right, that's another 75 years. We 100 years into the future, right? Then my son have a son and so on. We get to a point where we're 1,000 years into the future. This is how families rule the world. This is why Heinz and Colgate and Hennessy, right, and Chase Bank and the rest of them, these are family last names, right? They didn't need every family in America and white America to be a part of it. There's a few families that create institutions that ran over time, because that's your goal, is saying that, okay, how do we take this mindset? And that becomes generational wealth. So no, it's not going to start instantly, but it starts with small changes in habits, because I 100% believe that if you save yourself, meaning that you're not the person that's drowning in the shallow end of the pool screaming, help me. You realize that all I need to do is stand up for myself. Like, why am I panicking? Why am I complaining? I should be training. If I represent change in my life, in my neighborhood, then how many people can that impact? If millions of people change themselves, right, then what is the impact of that? People discount the ability of changing yourself and how much power that has, right? I believe it was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that said, self-development is the basis of community development. Right? So if we focus on developing ourselves as individuals, then when I run into Sway, we can build together.
That's right.
Right? But if you walking around with a mindset and a narrative and a story, like this shit not gonna work, we gonna try something, they gonna build it, they gonna break it down. That's a psyop that they ran. They want you to have that narrative in your mind so you don't even try. Because how would you know if you don't try? And this is why the vision has to be big enough. It has to be something that invigorates us. It can't be something small. It got to be something big to where you're focusing on the process of development. That means that when we look at hip hop, there's going to be some things we got to root out, straight up.
Like
there's going to
what?
be some people. All right, Sway trying to get me started.
No, I'm curious to like what. You already started, brother.
We already just started up.
Yeah, you were making a great point. If you could finish that, I would appreciate it.
Oh, Terrell's
I
still
do
here.
want to add.
Well, let him finish it. Let him finish it. Let him finish it, Terrell. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get in.
We have to end death culture in hip hop.
Okay.
It's what I call fast culture. It's like fast food culture. You know what I'm saying? It's just for fast consumption and capitalism. It's not for culture creation and values. It has no consciousness built into it. And it doesn't have the framework or the foundation and a reason to have hip hop. And then we make hip hop too important, right? And what I mean by that is that hip hop is a part of our culture. It is not the culture, right? What our culture really is that we revolutionaries. And we've always been. Throughout the history of this country, we've been the most revolutionary people on the planet. We've created the more conscious movements ever, right? When it comes to food, when it comes to health, when it comes to science, when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to activism, and it has benefited all people around the planet. But when I go to Africa, they gonna know 50 Cent before they know Malcolm X. So now they're not judging me based on Malcolm. They judging me based on 50. You know what I'm saying? They judging me based on what we export to other countries that become our image. So now if they see you as a nigga, the first thing they gonna say is, what's up, my nigga? And I'm like, bro, I would rather you say, what's up, God, to me. You know what I'm saying? But they don't see you like that because they only can afford so much internet and so much time in the first place. They only get cheap entertainment that's exported that's not even controlled by us. So if we don't control our image, we don't control our global story. So it don't matter what we actually been doing, how we actually been fighting. When you go look at slavery, what's the story in the mind that we were slaves in chains? The Underground Railroad was just us running away. When you look at the real story, it was the most guerrilla warfare, tactic and movement that had happened. They had fights. You know what I mean? They was killing folks to get them out their way, but we don't tell that story of radical resilience and resistance. We don't tell the story of the Seminole Wars that happened over 41 years during that period. And the last battle ended 4 years before the Civil War. How you think the brothers were so good at fighting when they entered the Civil War? The first blood that was shed in this country was black blood for this country, right? So when we think about that, damn, we weren't slaves, we was warriors.
Right.
We never stopped fighting. Not only was we warriors, we were scholars. We was writing books and we was putting together codes that was teaching everybody else how to behave at that time. We've never stopped. This is not nothing new. I'm just a part of the DNA of that's been going on. So when I think about being an American in America, I don't have to go to Africa for my pride.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going over there. If an African brother found out that he had American blood in him based on our history, he'd be happy as hell. Wait a minute. My ancestors was Huey and them? Oh, yeah, I'd be happy as hell to find that out. Because I know that they a warrior class that's the most resilient people ever. There is no modern history that can show me a more brilliant, innovative, inventive, warrior, resilient class because we've been fighting so many wars that we've never gave up. And this is the sense of pride that a young child has to instill. This is why let them get rid of the Department of Education. We have to have this type of resilience and say, you know what? We're going to build a peer-to-peer Department of Education ourselves to educate ourselves on our own stories, right? You should know who John Horsey is and the fact that he fought in multiple wars and he took 200 people across 800 miles to Mexico. You should have stories like that embedded in you when you think about your past. That makes you a little more prideful to say, damn, we did it before. We never stopped doing it. We weren't slaves. We were warriors.
19 Keys, man. We got 19 Keys here. He's going to be at the Gramercy Theater today. I'm going to open up the phone lines and let some callers call in.
Sir.
19 Keys is in the building, man. Keys, you got, I told you what he speaks about and what he talks about, he walks as well. You speak a lot about autonomy and entrepreneurship, and as you see him speak today on this show, you have this lovely package in front of you. What is this right here, man?
This the Supermind coffee, man.
Okay.
So this is the lion's mane and the cordyceps with a little bit of coffee in that. This is the only thing I be on in the morning. When you see me doing my workouts, I be on that Supermind.
This is what and so why is it, what's different about this coffee?
Well, I wanted something with less coffee in it, right?
Okay.
The lion's mane and the cordyceps are both adaptogen mushrooms, right, that help stimulate the brain. Right, the cordyceps can work as a good pre-workout or post-workout because what it does essentially is it helps with adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP, all your body energy systems needed, right? So it helps you with faster recovery and it helps you more intense workout, right? So this is a natural way you can get that boost. Then you got lion's mane. As we get older, we need our brain to be stimulated in different ways. So this helps with the remyelination process, which is basically your neurons and your axons firing. Right, getting electricity and information from one end to the other. So when you wake up and your brain is foggy, right, and you're trying to remember something, that's literally electricity not connecting from one end to the other. So that lion's mane mushroom helps with that. And they have published studies even just recently about lion's mane and cordyceps on both of them and how they actually work. So there's not no pseudoscience. This is real science right here.
This is real science. And the name of the coffee is?
It's called Supermind because at this time we dealing in a world of artificial intelligence. And I always say AI plus NI equals EI. That's artificial intelligence plus natural intelligence equals enhanced intelligence. And while things are speeding up, you need to be able to speed up as well, because when you speed up, then they slow down.
19 Keys. We got Sharon on the line from Minnesota. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sharon.
What's happening, Sharon?
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Sharon?
Going.
Yeah, jump in. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi.
Our timing is bad.
Okay, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I was strolling through my radio and I heard him, and I want to say you are phenomenal. I love everything about you because of some of the things you said. I was wondering about that, and I was saying to myself, well, let them disentangle the Board of Education. We got our own education anyway. We always had our own education. Muhammad Ali, like you said, a lot of them people that been there for us, we weren't taught to use them. If you notice in the school system, they only teach Black History Month 2 people, Martin Luther King and Harriet Tubman. We got way more than that. But I'm going to tell you something to open my eyes is when I went to Washington, D.C. when my daughter graduated from Howard University.
Okay.
And I went to go to the Black African American Museum. That did a lot for me because I was able to buy the books that they won't sell today with a lot of Black people that have inventors, like you said, the guy that invented the stoplight, the doorknob, a lot of people. I've learned a lot about that. I'm like, see, they don't teach our children this. But I bought it so I could teach my grandkids and their kids, and their kids, so they can grow up and be intelligent. They don't have to deal with this foolishness that they're putting out.
Okay.
Amen.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. We appreciate you, Sharon. Thank you. You got Sharon motivated, fired up right now,
Each one
Keys.
teach one.
Yeah.
There you go. Sharon ready to fight. All right, Sharon, we love you. You're super. Make sure you follow 19 Keys, too.
I am.
Okay. All right. You're a super
I
citizen.
would like to get on stage with 19 Keys or get to talk to him personally.
I'm looking forward to it.
You got to be on stage for that, though, Sharon?
I mean, we could be wherever. Yeah, we can be.
Oh, wait a minute, Sharon. This is going a whole nother direction. Sharon, you a citizen, all right?
Life is the stage.
Yo, you get a lot of that, bro.
Gee, what?
Because you're appealing to people. You're naturally appealing to folks.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
You're an allure.
Philosophy groupies.
Yeah, but leadership, people respond to
Well, let's
proper
say it like
leadership.
this is, first of all, it's before all of that. I'm from Oakland. So,
Okay, yes.
You know, it's in me, not on me. We got to remember that.
That's a straight up Oakland dude,
We're
right?
not going to forget that.
Before y'all knew me.
Yeah, before
y'all
knew me, I was still me.
We was still okay.
Yeah.
I said we was still we, Heather.
Yeah.
I heard you.
There's only 2 pronouns, and I'm him. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
And I'm him. I'm here for that. Keys, are you comfortable
Legally.
sharing what's maybe a more recent quote unquote bad habit that you had to shed?
Easy.
And what was the outcome?
Death scrolling. I think the worst habit, I think probably everybody can relate to this, just scrolling on the phone for no goddamn reason.
Okay. The doom scrolling, yup.
The doom scrolling is the worst thing. It's the most habitual idiocracy in society right now, and that's because the algorithms are made that way. So the way I break habits is I study them. I want to know why, right? So when you look at it is we're constantly looking for stimulation, dopamine hits and releases.
Yep.
Right? And so instead of actually doing something productive and getting your stimulation from that execution, you on your phone getting stimulation. Artificial stimulation, artificial intimacy, artificial connection.
Counterfeit.
So I'm sitting there scrolling, and then, you know, by the time you get to the lady in Pakistan, you're like, all right, this is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I on here for?
The Dubai chocolate.
You feel me? And then that's when you gotta, you know, the goal is, you know, you can use a Pomodoro method where you start setting a timer on your activities to get things done. Then you give yourself a reward by utilizing the phone, right? Anytime I have a problem, I just study it. Because my chief thesis is that the more awareness you have over something, the more power you have over something. So you literally empowering your brain to fight back. So there's a digital detox. I have a video on my YouTube channel, 19 Keys, about doing a monk mode, which is detoxing from everything for like 60 days. Friends, family, social media, food habits, and you just go in on yourself. You're reading, you're working out, and by the time you come out of there, you are a completely new person. Right? And so cutting myself off and then going back into my habits that made me who I am, because sometimes you get to a point where you start building, you start maintaining.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to get back to my habits. I had to start making sure I'm taking cold showers in the morning and start reprogramming my body, right? And then we start making sure that when we looking in the mirror, we doing affirmations and brushing teeth with the left hand. You know what I mean? Getting movement in the day that help with that glymphatic system to remove some of that brain debris that you go to sleep for in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So I start making sure that I have a habit shift, and then I start seeing my life become more productive. So it's the doom scrolling, and the guy who created the attention economy, he said that we have a wealth of information but a poverty of attention, right? Meaning that, number one, when a society can't focus, you lose your willfulness, right? And you lose your productivity. So we are in fast consumption culture. A new AI come out and a person hear about it as a news, not knowing this is $1 billion tool you can use to build your business on.
Yes.
You just been given a gift. But we consume headlines, titles, meme-ism versus you go on Twitter and you say something provocative so you can then drop a product right behind that to capture that attention. And memes are the easiest way for people to become emotionally connected to something without having to understand it. And because we live in a global world and we all speak different languages, pictures is the easiest way to convey a message, because most people are not going to take the time to read. Reading helps decrease anxiety and stress, right? It helps stimulate the brain. So we have a book club, right? I have a book that I wrote, and I'm actually writing a book now called High Level Conversations Only.
Perfect.
And it's about essentially activating that neocortex, right? Which is like your neo, to get out this matrix of low-level conversations. And the neocortex is that area that is for higher reasoning. It's the reason we have the ability to have high-level conversations, to where we can have philosophy and things of that nature. And in a world that's controlled by AI, like Elon Musk just put out there that he's utilizing AI to run his Doge department. If you look at Doge, where does Doge come from? Doge comes from an ancient Venetian practice in 626. It was from the longest oligarch society that was ever ran for 1,100 years, right? And they would install, the elite class would install these doges to do things that they normally couldn't do.
Doge meaning?
It was a leader. It was a ruler. That's what a Doge was. He's turning into an acronym, Department of Government Efficiency, but he's actually adopted that from the ancient Venetian society, which is the largest or the longest lasting oligarch, right? And what they doing is they take their history, their ancestral practices, and they use them in today's time. When we don't have enough knowledge of our histories, like the Moors had a wazir, right? A wazir was the consultant to the king, right? We need to start being able to look back in our past and saying, okay, we did have civilizations. Where are we not utilizing those blueprints to resurrect those ancestral codes in today's time? And it didn't fail. It just when that part, and this is what I look for, blueprints that didn't fail. Like, it worked. It just sometimes those people were conquered, but they had systems that would work. So when you know true history, you say, man, I want to be a vizier. I'm an advisor to the culture, a minister of culture, if you will. That's my role, right? I'm not perfect at everything. I can teach micro and macroeconomic trends. I'm a futurist, right? I'm a great consultant. I'm a creative. I'm a great speaker. And in the book, we teach you how to communicate, right? So how do you have a high-level conversation off the cuff? Most people may not be speaking in front of 20,000 people, but just in a room with someone else, how do you project your voice? How do you make sure that you know how to speak, right, in steps, so that you're not front-running yourself and losing your breath, right? All of these things have to get back to a level of mastery, because most people are level 1 speakers and communicators, just memorizers, but don't have understanding.
Yeah.
If we had true understanding of Bitcoin when it first came out, right? A lot of people had early knowledge of it, but it's the understanding that changes things. Once you understand it, you say, man, I would have put all my life savings in it. I would have put every single dollar that I have so that I can be a billionaire in the future. When you understand something, that's when you go all in to master it. If you truly understand this moment in time where AI, decentralization, then that's when you will go all the way in. But in the age of information, we got too much information. Too much. We don't need all this information. We need focus. That's it. We can find simple things. Everybody should be focused on becoming an expert and a master. There are people out here that I want to shout out, like my brothers from New Era, Zeke out there, My brother Golden Child in Chicago.
What up, Golden Child?
My brother EYL with the financial movement.
EYL.
My brother Wall Street Trapper making millionaires over there.
That's
my brother
guy.
Master Investor. My brother Aristotle Investments. He was the only actual sponsor that we've had for a high-level conversation show. We do everything self-funded. And, you know, shout out to my brother Bashir. And I don't like doing shout-outs because then you got people you always
miss.
Right.
Yeah, you miss
But
somebody.
all y'all, you know
who it is.
Mechi and
'Cause
Steve,
all
the team.
they was
My
like,
mom
what about
Bahia,
we're here? You know, they was-
Bashir and Drill,
They like, look
Kalima,
right in front of you,
Rahman,
bro.
Raheem.
What about right in front of you, bro?
Samad.
My man's in them.
Yeah, shout out to all the gods out there, man, that's doing something magnificent. My brother AJ McQueen, my brother
Get
Quay,
your man's in them.
who we actually got
I got
a
gift.
textbook.
Oh, textbook.
You got
Okay.
the textbook, so
All right, y'all brought gifts, man. They brought gifts. Guests.
we have to. We have
Yes,
to.
yes. So let's look at that textbook.
So this is a campaign. We want to get this, not even just this book, but a million of them across homes. And we update this, and it has barcodes in here where you have lessons, right? So everybody should be financially literate. I look at the Black Panthers program. They had the free food. This is the free knowledge program, right? So we have a nonprofit that we started to where we're going to be working with athletes and different people that want to sponsor 10,000 books or whatever to get them into the households for free, right? Because when we have the same knowledge, then we can say, okay, go look at chapter 19. You feel me? This is where you can learn about this particular economic cycle that we in. These are skill sets that you can't take away from a person. You learn options trading. You got a skill set for life. Right now, you can take that money from that knowledge that you have, and we can pour that into our own systems.
Intro to stocks,
Intro
right?
to stocks.
And then how can our listeners, our citizens get this book?
Right now, they can go to 19keys.com and sign up, and then we'll give them access. And for people that actually want to work with us, go to 19keys at 19keys.com so that you can work with us as well to get this out to the world.
19 is not spelled out 19. It's
19KEYS at 19KEYS. And tonight, people don't know, but every person that shows up, they're going to be getting access free to our app, which gives you actual trades to take in the market. So it's going to be free. I think like first 30 days for free. My brother Cheat Code at Quay that we partner with is going to be giving people access to this one for free. So you can literally start making money today, right? So the goal is to build out solutions and tools. And of course, the next step is, and shout out to my brother Keenan Beasley, we've been going back and forth on what is one of the ways that, you know, we can build some of these secondary models of new cities, right? What are some of the ways that we can figure out what is the new crowdfunding and the new venture capital, right? And we identify that it is a DAO system, right? To where people can vote and they're ran by smart contracts. So you ain't got to trust me.
Yeah.
The blockchain. The blockchain says it all. And if you don't understand something in this one, again, go to AI and ask a question. Because if you're not smart enough to do research, then we don't want you involved.
19 Keys, man, dropping gems, man. Get this man a round of applause. Man, you dropping a lot of gems, man.
Praise you out.
Said some things about hip hop, and I said the man don't just talk it, he walk it. Said hip hop, you know, needs some difference, you know, needs some change in it, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, why don't you be the change and welcome to the Valley of the Hyenas. Got all that information, all that vocabulary. Let's put it to work.
Uh-oh.
Let's put it to work.
I agree.
He didn't know I was going to do this. But he ain't scared.
He got his coffee.
What he does if he don't
do
know
have a
something,
supermind.
what he doesn't know, he studies and finds out about. We're going to make this topical. We got 19 Keys here. DB, drop a beat on them.
Okay, this how we feeling?
You like that one?
Yeah.
You like that? Let's start off with Afro-futurism. 19 Keys. Talk about Afro-futurism. Let's go.
The highest movement of gods who beat the odds. Afro-futurism, this is the brand new cause, but more Afro-cosmism, so we connect the stars. You see the crescent on the guard, you see no flaws. This ain't diamond, it's a different type of mining. Mind your own business, and I see these niggas lying. But I gotta line them up to start to give them truth. A young god who freestyle and never need a booth.
Blockchain.
No shade to the haters, they don't understand the game. On blocks and chains, on chains with blocks, on blockchain to understand the game. How you flip your knot. I see these young niggas snitching starting to act like cops. The women starting to act like thoughts, act like God. Just sits to understand the God a little different. We get the cognitive dissonance that you have. You bitching in your path instead of understand what's today's
Quantum
math?
physics.
God body, like Father, allow, hope you get it. This is different. You understand the 7, that's the physics. I'm in a whole nother plane, spiritual, mental, giving you that physical game. Every time I do push-ups, put them to shame. Every time they complain, I tell them they need to train. Yeah, you got the answer, Sway. And they lying if they say you ain't got a God today. I'm straight from the Bay. If they don't like it, they get the K's, yeah.
Complete autonomy. What does that look like? Describe it.
Yeah, we talking solutions, a whole ablution. I had to purify like I'm doing ablution. This a brand new solution to give them game to understand what we say. Our own banks, our own mind, and education today. I feel like I'm about to drop knowledge to sway. And any devil get in my way, get hit with a K. I disobey all of the rules that they say. I come to slay. Any dragon step in my way, we move like gods. Anytime we go against odds at 19 keys, you know I'm unlocking these things. The YZA to the culture, the wisdom I bring. Every time that you see me, all the angels go sing.
Why is black
He's the
beautiful?
God with the ground like he rocking the crown. It's that black that is beautiful when I be around. You understand the game that I come from the town? Yeah. Don't play with him cause he breaking around. Geometrical in this new fear that I have. No fear on the path, understanding this math. Yeah.
Mansa Musa.
Tell me what we do. All this gold that I'm rocking, everything has been true. And the history of the gods and everything, how we move. We was Mansa Musa. We was breaking down the movement. It was Muslims out in Mali. Understand the game, kicking it, feeling good like I'm chilling in Bali. They ain't even gotta like it. The brand new Khalid Muhammad to tell them about to hang they babies if
Name
they don't
cities
stop
in
it.
the Bay and what make them great.
Yeah, from Saliandro to Hayward to Oakland. If you don't know that these guys, I think you smoking. From Stockton to Bompton. They niggas lying if they understand we got this. And I ain't saying to be in the seat to be disrespectful. I'm just telling you that these are politics to be helpful. Understand that we made it from a place where they understand I keep the cards and the ace of the sleeve, playing the spades that the devils that's trying to weave. The game that I bring, I'm a god anytime I breathe. The heir to the throne, I'm keeping it on. Yeah, it's cosmic when you know I belong.
What makes 19 Keys him?
Him? Because I ain't never ever been femme. A chemically imbalanced and masculate. Every time I step out, I'm kicking down the gate. I've been that great. Why they been that hate? They talking like they real, but they been that fake. If they been like me, then they been an OG. I've been a god every day that I spit. The body that I come is masculine with my wits. The wisdom that I give is a gift if you get. The grit that I have on the path is the width of my knowledge, do the math, and I ain't even fucking finished college. I still teaching teachers, still on the block, still breaching, breaking them down for thinking they going against this Easter. I'm still throwing rocks at the giants. I'm still on my mission. Last name is Muhammad, like Elijah with the crown. I built the greatest economic platform around. I made sure that everybody understand the name of the gods who came from the town. Revolutionary suicide, like Huey P. My skin is brown, my melanin right. You might see me in the first class, flipped on the flight. If they don't like it, they don't care. I can freestyle anywhere. You catch me slipping, but it's like just riding the bike. However he spoke, you know how I go. Oh, it's unwrote. They understand as I speak, they quote. They saying he great. If they saying he dope, they just hating. It's okay, cause we gon' make it. They faking, they moving like Satan. Break them, I don't understand them like a conversation between a Haitian and Jamaican. What is you talking? You ain't really sparking, you ain't God walking, you ain't God body, you ain't really got it. You ain't about the body to Gotti, I embody the Malcolm. While I'm planting my flag in the eagle and falcon, that mean that I'm fly, no predator can break me down. Swing like the dreads of an East Oakland god around. You ain't gotta like it, but I'm psychic with my vision, clairvoyant with my wisdom. I can see the future, cause I bring it and create it. I'm Farrakhan calling the Million Man March to tell them the gods is much greater than the shooter and the killer. Let's activate the melanin to understand you greater than anything they tried to break us down. Fuck a AI, you a god body now. Use that quantum knowledge to understand this your round. We go win, we might sin, then we get back on it. Understand we use stocks to get the money, but don't stay up in the system. You gotta build your own. We don't need no more heroes, killer villains, and take over the whole globe.
19 Keys! 19 Keys! We got a lion up in here!
Yes, we do.
Yes, sir, that's history.
Yeah, man, 19 Keys!
Excellent.
Damn, I don't think it was never 5 fingers like that. Wow.
He did 5 fingers.
He did a 5 fingers of life. We changed the name.
Yo, I've been watching this for so long. And I think I imagined myself doing this for a long time, but I wasn't expecting it to do it today.
Exactly, and that's why we did it today.
It was ready.
We done. You was expecting it the last time, but you didn't expect it today, man. And you willed that to happen, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
willed that to happen. That's legendary.
Yes, sir.
You shall see. 19 keys. Give this man, protect this man at all costs. Protect this man at all costs. Protect this man at all costs. 19 keys. Follow him. 19_keys. The way it sounds is the way it's spelled. Thank you, brother.
Man, thank you for having me up here, my dear brother. I appreciate this. I really want us to understand the times that we're living in. These are very detrimental times. And if we can correct ourselves, we can study the pathway of the ancestors. And I ain't saying whether they was perfect or not. It doesn't matter. Whether it is the Malachi Z. Yorks or the Yahweh Ben Yahwehs, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Dr. Khaleds, you know what I mean, the Booker T. Washingtons, you know what I mean, the Marcus Garveys, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right, Father Allah. I mean, there's so many men that we should just learn from the mistakes, right, the lessons, the wisdom, and we should figure out what parts to resurrect to where we can build a better culture off of. There's no complaining. Look how the Moors took over Spain in 711. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a culture to pull from. And we got to stop acting like we don't have a culture. We're just not using it, right? And we have to go away completely from the culture that's controlled because these devils do control the culture right now. And I don't want you to not be a rapper. I just want you to use it in a manner that's more proficient to where when we put out these messages and we export them all across the globe, it's making them see us based on who we really are. We have to stop being hoes for money. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be above that and in control. I turn down sponsors that don't align. If it don't align, I decline. We looking for people to work with us. I don't have everything. I don't know everything. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to work within a group. This thing only works if we work together. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said our unity is like an atomic bomb. And it is. It's the greatest weapon we have to fight with, which is why they utilize every single resource to keep us down. During the Seminole War, they spent billions of dollars to fight those people who wanted to be free in Florida. And they still didn't get them all, right? And this is why they went to war, because they realized, man, white supremacy is goddamn not profitable. We spending all these money to keep them slaves. And we spent so much money during the civil rights era to integrate. Now we have to spend that same money, that same time, that same energy to build.
19 keys. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you to your team, too.
Yes, thank you to the team.
You got to thank them,
All
man.
previous high-level guests, my brother Steve, my brother Abel, he does all of the clothing for me. We got a brand, A119, the coldest in the game, you know what I'm saying? My brother Mechi, he's the one that does everything behind the scenes. My brother Solomon, he does all the editing. We got so many people on the team. I just want to thank everybody, and most of all praise due to Allah.
There it is, man. And on that note, I think that's how we end our week.